The night was falling gently over the small town of Rosehill, wrapping the houses in its cool darkness. Inside one of those homes, the Matthews family was finishing up dinner. The smell of garlic bread still lingered in the air, mingling with the soft murmur of voices. Sarah Matthews cleared the table while her husband, Mark, leaned against the kitchen counter sipping tea. Their two children, Emma and Jacob, were already in their pajamas, snuggling on the couch with the family dog Max. Had been a long day. Mark had worked overtime at the hardware store, and Sarah had spent hours trying to balance the books at her small photography studio. Still, even in exhaustion, there was warmth in their home. Love flickered like candlelight in the simplest gestures, a hand on a shoulder, a glance, a shared laugh. But beneath the surface, there was a quiet worry. The world outside seemed to grow darker with each passing day. "I don't know what it is," Sarah said softly, placing the last plate into the dishwasher, "but I've had this feeling lately, like we need to pray more intentionally at night." Mark turned to look at her. His brow furrowed, not out of disagreement but concern. "I've felt it too," he said. "Just this weight, you know? Like we need to keep watch over our home." Sarah nodded. "Exactly." They didn't speak of the recent break-ins in the neighborhood, or the violent story that made headlines that week. They didn't need to. There was enough unease in the air. But more than that, there was an unspoken awareness that their children were growing up fast, and the world was not the safe place it used to be. Every night felt like a crossing, from the light of the day into a shadow that begged for protection. That evening, after the kids had brushed their teeth and crawled into bed, Sarah and Mark stood together in the hallway between their bedrooms. Sarah placed her hand on Jacob's doorframe and peeked inside. The soft glow of a nightlight lit up his room in a gentle amber hue. He was clutching his favorite stuffed bear, eyes closed in peaceful sleep. Across the hall, Emma was already drifting off, her long hair splayed across her pillow like a golden fan. Mark wrapped his arm around Sarah. "Let's pray," he whispered. They knelt down right there in the hallway, bare knees pressing against the carpet, hands clasped, heads bowed. It wasn't rehearsed, and it wasn't polished, but it was powerful. "Dear God," Sarah began, her voice trembling slightly, "please watch over our home tonight. Wrap your arms around our children while they sleep. Let them feel your peace. Let them be shielded from anything that would seek to harm them." Mark continued, "Lord, protect our home. We know the world is uncertain, but you are constant. You are our shield. Stand at every window, every door. Keep darkness out and fill our house with your presence." They sat in silence for a moment, their hearts full. It wasn't the kind of prayer meant for show. It was raw and sacred. A call from two parents who wanted nothing more than to keep their family safe, to offer them to something greater than themselves. The days that followed became more peaceful. Not because the world outside changed, but because the Matthews family had changed. Each night, their prayer grew deeper. Sometimes it was said aloud. Sometimes whispered. Sometimes simply held in silence. But every night, they spoke the same heartfelt words. "Dear God, protect our family while we sleep." The children, too, began to notice. Emma, ever the curious one, asked one night, "Why do you and Daddy always pray before bed now?" Sarah smiled and sat beside her on the bed. "Because the night is when our minds and hearts need the most peace. When we sleep, we're trusting God to keep us safe. And He always does." Jacob, listening from his room, called out, "Can I pray too?" That night, the Matthews family knelt together for the first time in the living room. Even Max lay at their feet quietly, as if he too understood the holiness of the moment. Emma spoke first. "Dear God, thank you for Mommy and Daddy and Jacob and Max. Please help me not be afraid of the dark." Jacob added, "Please keep the monsters away. And help me have good dreams." Mark smiled and ended the prayer with strength in his voice. "God, may your angels stand guard over us tonight. Let no fear enter this house. Thank you for loving us more than we could ever understand." As weeks turned to months, that nightly tradition became unshakable. No matter what had happened that day, bad grades, job stress, forgotten lunches, or even arguments, They always ended the day the same way. In prayer. In surrender. In unity. One particular night, a heavy storm swept through Rosehill. Wind howled against the windows, and rain lashed against the rooftop like the drumming of 1,000 fingers. The power flickered once, twice, then cut off completely. The house fell into darkness. Emma screamed, and Jacob began to cry. "It's okay," Sarah said quickly, her voice calm. She reached for a flashlight in the kitchen drawer while Mark found some candles. Within minutes, the living room glowed with soft yellow flames and the family sat huddled under a blanket. "Let's do what we always do," Mark said, pulling both kids close. "Let's pray." And there, while the storm raged outside, the Matthews family prayed again. Even louder this time. Not out of fear but out of faith. "Dear God, we trust you," Sarah said. "Even in the storm. Even when the lights go out. You are with us." Jacob looked up. "Even when it's scary." Mark kissed his forehead. "Especially when it's scary." The storm eventually passed, and the power returned. But that night marked a new understanding for the family. Prayer wasn't just a bedtime tradition. It was a lifeline, covering, a connection that lit up their hearts even when the world outside felt pitch black. Over time, Sarah started writing down their prayers in a notebook. Some were simple and childlike, others were deep and poetic. But each entry carried a unique signature of their family's love and trust in God. Emma began decorating the pages with drawings, angels, stars, and smiling houses. Jacob added stickers of crosses and rainbows. Mark even took to writing short verses of encouragement for other families who might need the same comfort. Eventually, Sarah shared one of their nightly prayers on social media. It read, "Dear God, protect our home tonight. Let your angels camp around our house. Let fear have no room here. Let peace reign. As we sleep, you are awake. Thank you for keeping watch over us." The post went viral. Thousands of people commented, shared, and even messaged Sarah privately. "I needed this. This reminded me to pray again." We started praying together as a family after reading this. And just like that, what began as a simple hallway prayer turned into a ministry of encouragement. Sarah began posting nightly prayers for families all around the country. She started a blog, then a podcast. Mark helped with audio recordings, and Emma and Jacob often joined in with their sweet voices reading verses or singing lullabies of faith. Every post ended the same way. "Dear God, protect this family while they sleep." Through tragedy, fear, uncertainty, and even joy, Sarah reminded thousands of families that peace was available every night. Not because everything outside was safe, but because God Himself promised to be with them in the dark. Years later, when Emma had gone off to college and Jacob was in high school, the family still prayed together over video calls when possible.